1 Corinthians chapter 2. This section is the amplification of chapter 1 verses 18 to 25, where Paul dealt with worldly wisdom. Let's begin. In chapter 2 verse 1 to 5, the method of Paul's preaching in Corinth. Paul recalls his arrival in Corinth. Continuing to demonstrate the folly of boasting in human wisdom, Paul reminds them how he came to them. He made deliberate attempts to abandon worldly wisdom and concentrate on Jesus and Him crucified. Instead of depending upon excellent speech or persuasive words of wisdom, he proclaimed Jesus Christ and Him crucified, confirming his testimony with a demonstration of the Spirit and power. This he did that their faith might rest in God's power and not in the wisdom of men. The decision resulted in the transformed life of the Corinthians. God used Paul instead of all his weakness. Only the power of God can do it through Christ crucified. Important lesson. This paragraph provides the perfect touchstone for all preaching. There are searching questions here for the preacher. Is our preaching genuine proclamation? Does our preaching result in the transforming of the lives of our hearers? Even though Paul did not rely on the world's wisdom, Paul did proclaim a type of wisdom which came from God. Paul is referring to the normal practice of the apostles who taught spiritual truth in the power of the Holy Spirit. See how he uses we instead of I in verse 6. In this section, Paul brings four contrasts between human and divine wisdom. Let me first share the characteristics of human wisdom. There are four. Number one, it is temporary. Number two, human wisdom relies on the understanding and capacity of man. Number three, human wisdom is achieved through knowledge. And number four, the spirit of man is the source of his wisdom. Now let's see the characteristics of divine wisdom. Divine wisdom, Paul says, is eternal. The cross is its ultimate symbol. Number three, it is revealed to those who love God. And the Spirit of God is the source of God's wisdom. Paul describes the process by which God has revealed His wisdom, and that is through the Spirit of God. Paul contrasts the difference between the natural man and the spiritual man. The natural man is the one who depends upon his own human wisdom, who does not receive the things of the Spirit. And the spiritual man is the one who is led by the Spirit of God, such as Paul, who has the mind of Christ. In this section, Paul also emphasizes the work of the Holy Spirit, which is repeatedly stressed in this chapter. The close relationship between the cross and the Spirit is established. The Holy Spirit reveals the wisdom of God to those who love Him. The Spirit has revealed the plan of salvation. He has revealed the plan of salvation through the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit's work in revealing Jesus as the wisdom of God. The Holy Spirit imparts and interprets the things of God for us. The Holy Spirit enables all those who teach to know, to declare, and to explain. The Holy Spirit enables all those who hear the gospel to receive, to understand, and to appreciate. Paul closes by reminding us that true godly wisdom is revealed to us by the Spirit of God and Him alone. Godly wisdom cannot be understood by those who do not have or possess the Spirit of God. In verse 16, he encourages the believers to have the mind of Christ. For it is only the Spirit of God that can reveal to us the mind of Christ. We can discern all things if we have the mind of Christ.